A review into Sydney's road tolls is underway as the cost of living becomes a growing issue. Another toll price hike at the beginning of April has just been added to family budgets, and those living in the city's west are feeling it the most.
Pinging tolls all day, all day.
David Ball runs a small to medium family-owned transport business from Kingswood in Sydney's west. His fleet of trucks do trips into regional New South Wales, but most of the work is conducted across Metro Sydney, and the burden of toll roads is becoming unmanageable.
So looking at the financials, the bank statements every week, you can see those toll top-ups just coming out, and they're not like, my own personal one, which is like $40, a month maybe, so, which has even creeped up even higher. We're talking, hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars a month.
More of David's customers are refusing to pay for tolls, a cost he tries to absorb in the hope there'll be return business.
We would operate on a standard model of maybe 2.5–3% is what the normal go-to would be. But if you look at tolls on their own, they're 4%, and they're getting put up some of them are getting put up every 3 months, which is just pushing that gap further and further away.
Sydney saw another toll price hike on April 1. North Connects jumped by 12 cents to $8.56 one way, and the Eastern Distributor is up to $8.65, a rise of 9 cents. Michael Grover lives in Rooty Hill and says people in Western Sydney are disproportionately affected.
Now, we're always forced to use the main roads like the M7, the M5 to a certain extent, the M2, North Connects, and basically no matter where you need to go in Sydney.
Some of Michael's family have started choosing longer trip times to avoid toll points.
They shouldn't be penalised for living and starting a business in a part of Sydney that doesn't have access to adequate public transport. In order to film this story, we travelled almost 77 kilometres on Sydney toll roads. That added up to a total cost of $37.47. It's not cheap.
We are a government that is mindful of cost of living pressures on our communities and particularly on our families, and we know that stretching those dollars as far as possible is important, and so that's why we have implemented the toll review.
The New South Wales Government review will look into consistency, affordability and fairness of pricing in conjunction with the sustainability of road funding, meeting emission reduction targets and traffic congestion. Private company Transurban operates all Sydney's toll roads except the Sydney Harbour Bridge and Tunnel and provided Sky News with this statement. Transurban remains open to a discussion with the government about Sydney's toll roads and how the network can be even more equitable and efficient. However, any decision about tolling policy is a matter for the government. The private sector does not control the price of tolls. One idea being floated is a new distance-based charge, similar to Sydney's Opal Card public transport system. But that's easier said than done. All of Sydney's toll roads are on separate agreements, some dating back to previous governments, so they see different price rise schedules. Some, like the new North Connects, have increases every 3 months. Others, like the M5 East, see annual increases. Now, all of this was avoidable. The government had a decision. They could have elected not to sign contracts with a 4% annual increase in tolls. They could have decided not to put new tolls on old existing roads. And they could have decided to keep these assets on the public balance sheet, but they made a decision to, in effect, transfer the costs over to the citizens of New South Wales. And I think many people, Kenny, are just waking up to the reality of how expensive it is to live in the most tolled city on the face of the earth. Kenny Heatley, Sky News, Sydney.